Hi guys, and welcome back to our tutorial series. Last time we left off, I just showed you guys how to make your scope. I think so. Let me just double check. Yeah, it was. And today we're going to start making gun movement. Basically, before our gun, well, the best way I can show you is if I just click on the gun. I turn the script off, play it again. As you can see this time, if I move along my X and Y axes, you see the gun follows it perfectly, almost as if it's like an image stuck. I mean, that's a bit unrealistic. So what we're going to do today is gun movement. And what's going to happen is if we move along the X or the Y, the gun's going to try to follow the mouse position and catch up to it. So this is what the end result's like. So before, you remember it just stood still. This time, it's going to follow it slowly. There we go. Gives it a much more realistic effect, like as if the arms are following the camera. So yeah, let's start on this, shall we? I'm just going to delete the script I had before. And click on your FPS script folder, create new JavaScript, rename this to gun movement, and open it in MonoDevelop. Righty, our gun's open, our script's open, our gun's open. Just save that and save your scene. Now drag this script onto your gun model. And there it is. Okay, let's go back into Unity. Now the first thing, let's see how it's gonna work basically. So we know that we're gonna first of all need a new vector, so change its default position to something else, and we know we're gonna need a vector as well, which makes it go back to its normal position, so a default. And we need speed, we need the amount it's going to move with, and what axis it's going to follow. So that's what we need in order to make the gun movement. So let's go back into our script, and we're going to start defining some variables. You will see how these variables take action afterwards. It's fairly simple to understand once it's fully written down. So public var move amount. That's going to be a type float, and I'm just going to set it as 1 for now. A public, not a capital P, public move speed. It's going to be float as well, and I'm just going to set it as 2 for now. Let's make a public gun. I'll explain why we need this as a game object. Right, the reason we want a game object is because we don't want to attach this script to the main player. It's only on a certain object, which is the arms and the gun. So what we're going to do is, when we define these variables, we're going to go back into Unity and tell it what object is going to be moving rather than the whole body. So it's just going to be the arms and the gun. So that's the main purpose of this variable. Another public move on X. I'm going to set this as a float and leave it. A public move on Y. and I'm going to leave this as a float as well. These are the ones that these two variables are going to be getting our X and Y position for our mouse. And now we need default, so public default pose POS, and it's going to be new vector free, not new vector free, just vector free, sorry. And I think that's all the variables we need. Yes, they are, so let's continue. Right, every time the first thing we want to do is, if we have a default position, we want to make sure that we get it and we store it. I made a mistake. You guys are probably laughing. I left all the wars out. War, I think this is a C#. War. Right, so let's create a new function. Function start. We could have a wake as well. And in this start function, we're going to put our default position variable. It's going to be equals to the gun transform local position. Save that off. So basically what it's doing is, as soon as it runs, it's getting a local position. So if we stop moving the mouse, it's going to start bringing the gun back to its normal position. So go back into Unity, let it just update, drag your gun variable right into the gun variable, gun object, sorry, not gun variable. I just said drag your gun variable into your gun variable. Right, save that off. I just want to run it and see if it picks its default positions. Oh, it's maximized. Okay, great. So you can see it's picked its default positions and it's going to keep it there now. Let's go back into the script and let's start implementing it so it moves. Well, the first thing we want is to find out what the X position is. So if it's a minus or a plus, so it's going to be move on X. So basically, if we're moving the gun on the minus, the gun is going to start moving on the minus X, on the minus axis, and if it's in the plus, it's going to move on the plus axis. It's going to be it's going to be equals to input dot get axes, and we want our X axis for a mouse, so mouse X. Now remember guys, these are predefined in Unity. If you want to find out again, I said in the very first tutorial, you go to edit, then you go to project settings and click on input, and if you go to axes, yours should be minimized. If you clicked on it, open it up and you'll see mouse X and Y, and if you want to change it about, you can, but I just recommend you leave it the way it is. Yeah, so I'll just let you know it's predefined, so I don't want you thinking, hey, what's mouse X, you didn't create it on the top. And we're going to time this by time dot delta time, and then the amount we want it to move with the X axis, so move amount.